Hi, I'm Samantha Varner, and this is the She Needs Grit podcast, the show where I dig into how to prioritize profit in your business and build an empire using grit and strategy and doing it in a simple, no BS kind of way. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. This is Sam, your host of She Needs Grit podcast, and I'm doing something a little different today. I am recording both the audio and the video, and I'm doing it from my home office. So I'm excited to give this a go. I would love for you to obviously listen where you listen to the audio podcasts. But if you want to come on over to YouTube, She Needs Grit, I would love for you to comment on there. Let me know that you watched the video and tell me whether you prefer video with the audio or just audio. I am so curious to hear what your preference is. So, today's podcast, you guys, is really, really critical. I have been kind of talking to clients about this topic and going to some different trainings myself and thinking about how to teach you guys the best way possible to help manage how many sales that you have. And what is the thing that's actually standing in your way of accomplishing your sales goals, right? Of increasing that profit bottom line. And you know what's funny is I think the reality is most of us think I don't have the right strategy. There's some sort of tactic I'm missing. I don't have a big enough email list. I don't have a lot of followers on social media. Maybe that's the reason that I'm in this predicament and just not hitting my profit goals. And I am here as kind of a person who really had to figure this out myself, but a person who has figured out that the secret sauce to business success is very rarely, if ever, the tactic or the strategy. Now, that's not to say that we don't need tactics and strategies. We, of course, do. You need to do things with a bit of a plan. You need to be coming at it with a strategy and an overall goal of how you're going to accomplish things. But the reality is that is not going to make or break it. You can choose to do podcasts. You can choose to do networking events. You can choose to do exclusively social media or no social media at all. It doesn't matter. You can still create the same results. But what does matter is your headspace. So, you guys know that I have talked a lot on this podcast about the crush formula that I work through with my clients to help them get more profitable in their business. And the last letter in this formula is the H. It's the headspace, right? It's the word that at She Collective I use for mindset. And it took me a long time myself, you guys, to get to the point where I thought mindset was anything more than like woo woo, something I didn't get, something I didn't understand, to being something that I absolutely believe is critical for my success. And I can see when it works and I can see when my mind is gone off on a tangent. And I can see it in my clients as well. I can see the transitions that they're making, I can see the successes that they're having. And it is always related to what they are thinking and less related to what they are actually doing, right? So I've got some notes here. I'm going to look down, make sure that I'm kind of touching all the points, but I want to encourage you to start thinking about your mindset in a more serious way. Your headspace, the way that you feel about your business, about your ability to provide the service that you're offering, about the fact that you are a badass business owner and you are the best person to solve your clients' potential problems, this is critical. If you're feeling nervous and scared and hesitant and not wanting to talk to people about your business, I can guarantee you're going to have less profit than if you walk in a room and you feel like a badass. You put on those shoes, you walk in the room, you have your head held high, your shoulders are back, and you are feeling like you own the world. That has nothing to do with the tactics, or arguably in this case, the shoes. It has to do with how confident you're feeling about your business, in yourself, about the fact that you can go in there, explain what you have to offer, and explain how you can solve the problem the client has, and you can do it right now. So, if this feels like something that is a little woo woo or something that feels hard, that's okay. I am here to tell you that I was that person and I have absolutely made the shift to believing how much headspace matters and incorporating it into my business growth. So you can feel real uncomfortable right here, but I suggest that you stay. I'm going to walk you through some questions you can start to ask yourself, some activities you can start to do to uncover what might be blocking you in your mind that will allow you to work through that stuff, move it to the side, and be able to step into your power and sell more of your product. Okay. So let's get started. The way that I deal with mindset I guess specifically, right? There's a lot of different ways. Maybe we'll start there. Okay. I'm going to go through, here are some of the things I do from a mindset headspace perspective that will give you some ideas. I do a lot of reading that is personal growth reading, right? Business growth reading. I immerse myself in opportunities where I can learn from people who are growing their business with mindset at the forefront. I work on my mindset with my one-to-one coach and in the two coaching groups that I am part of. I've just invested in a big mastermind that starts in July, and I'm so excited for it. But I know that a massive component of that is going to be managing my brain as I scale my business forward. So I'm not doing this by myself, okay? This is not something that comes naturally to me. Mindset, thoughts they are not the thing that I understand intrinsically. Instead, they are something that I have had to learn, I've had to develop, I have had to be educated on. I have to surround myself with people who believe the same as I do from a mindset perspective in order to be able to really, really hone those skills. So that's where I start to begin with, right? I start with building out even just the belief that my headspace, what my brain is telling me, could have an impact on my bottom line. And as soon as I started to buy into the fact that it does indeed have an impact on my bottom line and my big goals, my profit goals for my business, and really the long term of me building my empire, okay, I'm all in. What can I do? How can I develop this? How can I grow and learn in order to really, really make the best of what I can make? So, the one thing that I do on a daily basis that I do independently is that I journal. So there are a lot of thoughts that are creeping up in our brain, they're in our subconscious, they are not really at the forefront. And it's very hard to determine what those are when we're just kind of like sitting around thinking about it. Okay. So I journal things and I push myself to answer questions and be really uncomfortable and get those details out on the paper so that I can weed through my thoughts, figure out what is actually fact, what is actually just garbage. And there's a lot of garbage in there, guys. And I don't think I'm the only one, but there's a lot of garbage thoughts in there. And if you can clean those thoughts up, your confidence grows, your ability to sell grows, your belief in your product and yourself develops way beyond where it currently is. Okay. So, journaling doesn't have to be fancy. You need a pen and a piece of paper. I'm a big fan of journals that are, let me show you here. Ooh, I like this part of the podcast. I can show you things now. Okay, so this is the journal that I have currently. I have also used one of these. Anybody familiar? Yeah, I always buy 10,000 of them for my kids for school. And so those are the types that I use. And I often will keep journals for different parts of what I'm trying to work on or with different coaches, that sort of thing. So I can kind of keep my brain separate. Okay. So here are what I'm going to give you today are 4 questions, or at least 4 topics with some questions within there that I want you to start thinking about. That this is your like dip your toe into this mindset piece and figure out how you feel about it. Figure out, is there an impact? Do you feel a shift in how you think about your business once you've gone through these activities and these questions? Okay. So The first question I'm going to ask you is, do you talk about your offer often? I know, right? How many of you are listening to this and thinking, I mean, I talk about it sometimes. I probably should talk about it more. Yeah, the reality is you probably should talk about it much, much more. And the question isn't, how do I start talking about it more? But the question is, why don't you? What are you thinking about your offer? What are you thinking about yourself as a service provider? What is it that holds you back from just telling the world about your offer? And I want to give you this in context. So I know as a mom that, oh, what's a really good example? Oh, I know. Okay. So when my kids were little, we have a swimming pool in our backyard, and I wanted to make sure that they were safe. We had a fence, all of those things. But one of the things I found, because I have four kids and they're all very close together in age, they couldn't all swim. But I didn't want it to mean that we couldn't participate in swimming. So what I found was this product called a puddle jumper. And it's like, there's some people that don't like them, but whatever. We're way past that point. We can swim now. So it goes across the chest, and it has little like water wings that go on the arms, and it buckles in the back. And what it does is allows them to be in the water with me without me having to physically hold all four children and feel confident that nobody is going to actually drown. So, do you know how many people I told about that product when I found it? Everyone, everyone. I told my sisters who didn't have kids yet. I told friends. I told people that I met at school. I told everyone because it made such an impact for my life and I felt it to be so important. So, do you feel that fired up about your business the way I felt about puddle jumpers at the time? I want you to really examine what might be your hesitation. So, one of the questions is like, why don't I talk about it all the time? And you're going to come up with some answer like, I talk about it enough. I don't want to overwhelm people. Why? Why don't you want to overwhelm people? Why do you think people would be overwhelmed? Okay. Then I want you to dig into that. Like, why? I don't want to bother people. Okay. Why do you think offering the thing that you believe to be so valuable would be a bother? Do you feel bothered when somebody shares something that you're like, oh, I was looking for that. That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing. We don't. But we, for some reason, hold ourselves back and think, I don't want to share too much. I don't want to be too pushy, right? There's all these thoughts that come up. Do you hear any of these thoughts being something that you might have thought? This is what I'm talking about. If you can journal yourself through this and get to the point where you come up with what is your actual reason, I want you to look at that and think, am I being pushy? Am I being slimy? Do I believe my product is frickin' amazing and it will solve the problem of these people? Shouldn't I tell them about it? I want you to see. Do you see where your brain starts to go? It's a much different shift than I'm bothering you. Okay. The next question I want you to really think about and kind of journal on is, why is my product the absolute best solution for my clients? And I want you to sell the shit out of yourself on this journal, right? I want you to write that whole page on why what you offer is amazing, why it is the best thing to solve this problem. What problem does it solve for clients? What does it change in their lives? What does it mean if all of a sudden they can achieve that result that they've been seeking? How big of an impact can you telling that one person about your business have on their life? And I want you to get really granular in this, guys. I want you to sell yourself on why you are a badass because we forget sometimes, right? You get a couple of no's in a row, or you feel a bit foolish, or you're not making sales, and you start to doubt your actual product when it's not that. It's just you're going through a little bit of a downturn. How do you get yourself from that, like, boo is me, up to that point of like, oh, yes, I am a badass. And yes, people can say no to me, but I need to still keep talking to people because people do say yes to me too. Okay. So I want you to work through that. If you have current clients, this is a really good experience for you. I want you to really think about, what are the wins my clients have achieved? And maybe it's For me, here's some of the measurements that I look at. I look at their confidence. I look at the cash flow for them. I look at massive changes in their business. I look at how they feel now in their business, how they show up in their business. What has changed as a result of working with me? And yes, do I take all the credit for my clients' wins? I absolutely do not. I believe that I am there as the guide and they are there and they have to take it over the finish line. This is all they're doing. But I do believe that without me, this would be harder. And so when I look at their wins, I'm not looking at them from a pride position of like, look what I did. I'm looking at them as examples of my coaching has the ability to create that impact. And I want to remember it. I want to think about it. I want to marinate in it. And I want to be able to tell the next person that comes through my doors, this is what I can achieve for you. My coaching will do this, this, and this, and feel very good about that conversation, right? Okay. So I want you to think about also, how do you feel about selling? What are your thoughts about selling? Just like brain dump that. What do you think about selling? What do you think about salespeople? Hmm. Is it hard to make sales if you think that you're a salesperson? And those are your thoughts? Yeah, it is, right? You are a service provider. You are a solution to the problem that has been plaguing your clients. I don't care what your business is, that person has been seeking this. It is critically important to them. Therefore, this is not salesy or sleazy. It is actually amazing that you were able to provide that service and give that client that access to it. Okay. So I want us to reframe how we feel about sales, reframe how we think about us as salespeople, and instead embrace the crap out of the fact that we're changing lives in big and little ways, but we are changing lives with our business. And when you start to do this work on your mind and start to really shift how you think about things, you can show up better. You can step into a room, you can step online, you can go to a networking event, and you are not going to be that wallflower person that is like, oh God, this is really hard. You are going to be the person who walks in the room, puts out their hand, introduces themselves to the new person in the room, and shows up, and you show up for yourself. And you know what happens then? You make more money. You make more money because there is something that is energetically like gravitational to us. If we feel great about what we're doing and great about the solution we have to provide and great about the success you will have by using my product or my service, then you will feel so good about signing new clients and they will feel so good about signing on with you. This is where the mindset piece happens. And the thing I'm going to warn you is you cannot just do this once and expect that it's going to be okay. Those garbage thoughts in the back of our head have been there for a long, long time. So you need to every day take a little bit of time. And when I say a little bit, I mean like 5 or 10 minutes. And I know you can find it, it is possible. I found it. I've got 4 kids and a busy life and all the things, and I still manage to make time to dump out the crap of my brain, fill it back up with the thoughts that I want to think because I know I feel so much better in my business doing that. Okay. Then, okay. So the last one, we kind of touched on this, but I want you to think about what value do you offer? So I want you to write down like 25 ways you offer value to your clients. What do they gain? What have they gained? What do you know you can achieve with them? What is the change that you will create with your business? This feels really good, right? You write this down, you come up with this. If you're having a crap day, I want you to come back to this page in your journal and I want you to review all these things. I guarantee you're going to be sitting down feeling, whoa, this sucks. And you're going to read that and go like, oh, right, no, this is what I'm doing. So we talk in the Crush formula at the beginning, we talk a lot about your why, right? Having a really strong why, the thing that makes you work when you don't want to work, makes you show up when it feels hard, all of those things. But your why is the front end and your headspace is the back end. So if you know why you're doing it and you feel great about doing it, you can't help but make more profit. It is just how it works. It's just how it works. So I want you, as you're kind of like thinking about this week, I want you to consider how much value could you create in your business if you had more confidence, if you felt more sure, if you were showing up in the world in a bigger, more abundant, badass kind of way. And I guarantee to you that if you can work on your headspace, this you will see a change in your bottom line. Okay, guys, I hope this helps today. I really do want you to hop over to YouTube and see what you think about my hand gestures and all the things that you can't see when we're just doing audio. I would love comments there to hear what you think about this. Otherwise, I want to invite you, speaking of what were we just talking about today, right? Speak of your offer. I want to invite you guys to hop on a Profit Maker call with me. This call allows you to tell me what is going on in your business and gives me permission to tinker away. So I know that on these podcasts, you get a lot of value. My goal is to come here and just like fill your brain with things that can change your business and your bottom line. But I also know there's one thing to do it from your car speakers, and there's another thing to do it when you are directly face to face with me on Zoom or in person if you happen to be in Texas, and getting me to like hands in help you renovate your business and create those results. So, yes, do I share tactics and strategies and all of that stuff? I 100% do because you need it. Do I help you with your mind and getting your headspace in the place where you can be the badass in the room and you can step up and show up for your business in an amazing way? I definitely do. Do I get results from my clients that are incredible? Incredible. And they are incredible from a financial perspective. They are incredible from a confidence perspective. They are I watch clients scale their business and embrace what is possible and then chase down what is possible and actually achieve it, right? They are creating massive amounts of profit in their business beyond what they had when they came to me. So, if that sounds like something that you are ready for, I invite you, please book a Profit Maker call with me. In the show notes of this episode, I'll make sure that the link is there. Find some time on my calendar. It's an opportunity to get to have a conversation with me. It's free, of course, and lets me kind of like hands into your business, which is my favorite thing to do. And I guarantee you're going to walk away with some ideas as to how to get more profit in your business and do it this week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great week.